Sterilizing, buying time, killing people next in line. Lower classes, social slime, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. Caesar shit, force of air. Fuck them back, it's only for they war. They shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape. They burn the kids, no one makes countries. Lie to your face, fight and die. Cause God forgives. Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line. Lower classes, social side, they don't matter. Genocide, sick from water, sick from air. Making money, they don't care. See the shit, force of air. Fuck them back, that's only fair. They bomb, they shoot, they kill, they massacre, rape. They burn the kids, no one makes countries. Lie to your face, fight and die, cause God forgives. Yeah! Coming back around again.
Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Ron Stevens. This is Rock the Boat right here on Revolution, UCY.TV. The best little network on the internet. And today is the 9th of July, and looks like it's stewing up some rain around here. Anyways, I got word last night that Jules is home. And that certainly makes me smile. I hope it makes everybody else smile. I'm sure it does. Because without Jules, there would be no UCY.TV. And that would be a sad thing indeed, not to have this network. So, what we're going to talk about today, I'm not exactly sure. I was up late last night after the show. I got a very messed up shoulder, which is causing me considerable pain after going to the House of Justice and being run over by the bulls there, the local Walkerton courthouse, and which has got a reputation of abuse on the public. I tell you, it really reminds me of something out of maybe a small county in Georgia or something. We used to watch these B movies on the drive when we were teenagers, many years, decades ago. And I'd say, man, there's no way anything could operate like that and get away with it. Well, it's operating right here in southern Ontario. Boss Hogg and the boys. And the criminal justice system is exactly what it says it is. The justice system is a criminal organization. And they don't like anybody exposing that fact. It makes them itchy. And so they bring out their boys. And, it's not mafioso, really. We'll ensure that you enjoy your slavery as long as you don't speak up. God forbid you speak up, you're going to get run over. But I've been run over before, and I'm sure I'll be run over again. But this time they really frigged up my shoulder. And so I'm going to have to go back to the doctor, at least here. And I don't have a doctor. I don't like hospitals. And so if I go today after the show, that means I'll probably sit there in emergency for 4 or 5 or 6 hours. and it won't make any difference if I go tomorrow because, again, I don't have a doctor. So that's the way it is. Anyways, I'm just going to buzz over here for a second to... I got the best... I got to read this to you. I got the best... I hate Facebook, by the way. What a bit of a passion. But it's a tool that one can use. And I do use it. Don't like it, but I do use it. And every now and again, I'll take a shot to try to clean out my Facebook of certain people, those that can't think, those that are players, those that are mouthpieces for the agendas and that. So I put this. I found this. I don't know if I put this in last night, but I'm going to put it in today, anyways. I'm just going to think. I'm just going to. If you're on Facebook, I'm just going to throw the link for my Facebook in here, and I put up this this video I found. It said, if milk commercials were honest. Now, the thing with Michael Schmidt is he's a raw, organic farmer. Uses no herbicides, no pesticides. He doesn't needle his cattle. His chickens and the rest of his animals are all free range. They're all grass-fed. They're all happy. You can see the smiles on their freaking faces. Cleanest barns I ever seen in my life, because he actually cares. It's not about the money. It's about producing healthy food for people, of which he's totally committed to and has been getting run over since the early mid-90s. And I've been raided numerous times, been dragged in and out of court. He started out, I think he had 600 acres. He's down to 100 acres now. He's not even down to 100 acres. He ended up moving that. He actually ended up selling the farm to those who participate in the farm, just to try to remove himself from this, so that hopefully that these people can have their food. So basically, what Michael is at this point is a farmhand on his farm, and this is how it's evolved since he came from Germany as a young man to set up farm in Canada, and it's been an ugly old ride. But I found this milk commercial. It says, if milk commercials were honest, and you can do that with any commercial on TV if it was honest. So I just wrote in here, finally an honest commercial, processed pasteurized milk commercial. The government holds a monopoly on processed pasteurized milk and wants no competition from organic raw milk farmers who produce the milk and milk products that will make you strong and healthy versus the garbage that's coming out of the commercial farms. And it's really weird because I'll put things in to the Facebook just purposely to irritate people. And what I'm posting is absolutely researched and true. But a lot of people can't handle the truth to this day. Still, we still have a vast majority of the people playing left-right nonsense, and which just means they're not thinking very well. So I take this as a compliment. Les Stiles puts a comment in here on this if milk commercials were honest, and so he's hung in here for a long time. And his comments is, well, hell must have frozen over. I actually agree with one of your posts. I grew up on fresh cow milk. Any farmer back in the day knew it was the best. Well, it's still the best. But the government, which is a corporation, doesn't like competition. That's what I said last night on the show about these people, these idiots. I call them idiots, who trying to get weed legalized. Oh, great, they're going to legalize weed in Canada. Well, what a bunch of idiots. Okay, because the government has figured out a way to make money at this through taxes and whatnot, and also their friends and their friends who were in government, who are in government. I mean, it's a closed house, like Carlin said. It's a big club. You and I are in the big club. So they monopolize things, like they monopolize the milk, they monopolize the weed. And if you try to, you see, people say, oh boy, when it's legalized, we'll be able to grow weed in it. No, you won't. They're going to come down on you harder than they ever came down on you, because now they've got a monopoly on the product and they don't like competition. Even though your weed is probably far superior to their weed, just like Michael and the other raw milk farmers, their product is, there's no comparison in the health benefits between the commercial milk and the raw farm milk. They're like, it's like legal in law. You can't get farther away. They're not the same product. And the people that grow their weed, they're gardeners. They're growing their weed to get the best product they can possibly get for the benefits of that product. Now that the government has control of the weed, okay, just like your commercial milk, where they're feeding the animals food they're not supposed to be eating, they're jamming them full of needles all the time. I almost fell over when the one commercial milk farmer told me that the cows can't even ovulate or come into heat on their own. Okay, they have to needle them to force them into heat, because their bodies are so stressed out, because every ounce of their energy is being used to produce milk. Well, this is totally unnatural. If you look at the udders on these commercial cows, you wonder how these animals can even, one, stand up or walk. Well, they don't walk a lot. Okay, they're just producers. And they'll shove whatever they got to into that animal to get it to produce. Now, the same gentleman I was talking to said that there's some of the farms now, they're trying to get 3 milkings a day out of the cows. Well, this is completely not natural. And Michael, he's one milk farmer I know others, but he's got cattle out there that are 16 years old. Cows, their udders are very small, and they produce what they produce. They go out in the field, they eat the grass, they hang out and just wander around, mind their own businesses, like my uncles and my grandparents' cows did. And they come in to get milked, and then they go back out again. So they're only producing what they're supposed to produce. They're not being pushed. So you have real food coming out of those cows, not just nonsense. And it's the same thing with the wheat, okay? You got GMO cows producing GMO milk, which is freaking poison, which is sold in all the stores. And the milk is so bad, they got to pasteurize it. In other words, they got to sterilize it. They got to kill it in order that you can consume it, which kills the benefits of milk. And they're going to do the same thing with weed, okay? It's the same thing as the commercial cigarettes. Any of the stuff that these governments get their hands on, they poison it. But you can bet your bottom dollar that the cops are going to come down on you harder now than they ever did. If you think because it's legalized, nobody's going to bother you, good luck with that. Because now you're in the market of competition. You're illegal competition against the monopoly owned by the government. Okay, so look out, because you're going to end up in the same ball game as Michael is. Okay, they're going to come at you hard because they don't want competition. anyways, I'm going to stick this in here because this is a phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal truth commercial about milk. And in that near the end of it, they actually say, and if anybody got questions or whatever, we'll show you a picture of cows wandering around in a nice green grassy field. But that's not what our cows do. But you'll like the picture, so we'll show it to you. This is advertising, okay? And people got to quit believing, what they're being fed as far as these advertising lines. And if you wish, just down, I haven't had time to move these around, but right under the milk commercial is a piece that Michael put in yesterday about what's going on in the court, and I think this is, I don't know if it's really shook Michael. I know it's disturbed him somewhat. He talks about warning people about these thugs that they have in the courthouse, and the Crown went out of their way, and so did the investigating officers, and that to get a warrant that the judge did not want to issue a warrant. There's no need for a warrant, and the investigating police officer kept pushing the judge, kept lying to the judge, called them free men on the land, told them that they were a threat to the public, and that's why they needed the warrant, and kept lying to the judge until the judge issued the warrant. Now, on the stand, this police officer recanted that one, he didn't know what a free man on the land even was, and that these guys aren't it. But so they lied constantly to get what they wanted, and that was to get these guys into court. So this is just a short piece underneath of the other milk thing. Michael describing kind of what happened in the court, and I would be the one that got run over. But anyways, I'm going to throw this in because the one thing I really want you to understand is the milk commercial, because if there's anything that tells you straight out, now the government on the one side is saying that our milk products are beautiful and wonderful and so on and so forth, but this tells you really what commercial milk is all about on the government side. And they're going to do the same thing with the weed, right? They got so bad around here that the health department here was saying that you don't even have to drink raw milk to die. If someone drinks it and then breathes on you or sneezes on you, then you could probably catch something and die. That's how ridiculous it is. And that's what they're going to do with the weed again, right? They'll probably bring out Reefer Madness again or something to tell the poor stupid sheep that if you're using unlicensed weed or illegal weed, that it will probably make you crazy and you'll turn into a maniacal murderer and jump off tall buildings. Because the only weed that's safe is government weed. The only milk that is safe is government milk. And it's really quite pathetic. But all of this stuff is bringing reality to the forefront, finally. And people are finally seeing how deceptive the so-called government really is. Do they care about your health? No, they don't. If they did, they wouldn't do what they do. And I think all of these court cases and all of the stuff that's going on is really bringing people to a realization that they need to come to, and that is that they've been deceived. And there's a note in the KJV, which Elizabeth took the oath to uphold that faith, which is just, there's some really beautiful little short things in there that makes perfect sense. And the one is, take heed no man deceive you. And, people run around, oh, the government, they love it. Right, sure they do. It's a company, folks, and you're the company slave. And you're no different than the slave in the cotton field. And if the slave gets uppity, there's always going to be a slave gets uppity. And if a slave gets uppity, you better get him into the woodshed and you better tune him in, or her, because there was uppity female slaves. And the idea is not so much to harm the particular slave, is to put a message out to the other slaves. Look what happens to you, or could happen to you, if you get uppity. And that's what these court cases about Michael are, is to attempt to show other people that it's not worth fighting. It's not worth it. Well, of course it's worth it. And the beauty is, more people are coming to the realization that this whole government thing, it is a deception, and you're a slave. You were born into slavery, and we need to break those shackles. There's a song, if I could find it, I can't remember what the guy's name is. A huge black guy. He died a few years ago on a flight to Holland, I think it was, to do a concert. And it's an old black and white song. And it basically goes, no one is free if one of us is chained. And that's brilliant, because we're all chained. And none of us are free. And we got to break that chain. Which means we got to get out of the legal system, which is a commercial corporate system, of which you're a slave to. You're an entity they created, and that's what they have control over, not you, the man or woman. And they hold you slavery in the legal system, which they created, which is false law. And we need to get back to being who we are, and that is men and women of law. And if we can do that, which we must do, then we are free. Now, if I look up in the one online free dictionary, they have a dictionary for basically every plus encyclopedia, Wikipedia, synonyms and thesaurus and whatnot. But they also have a legal button in there. And if you look up born and you look through there, you'll find the words like free. And it's just like Clarence Line, born free. And you were born free, momentarily. And then you were enslaved. And when you look up the word birth, it's all about the legal system. When they classify you as birthed, you've been classified as a product. Your parents produced a product, which is an asset of the corporation. And so you are in their system, and you must abide by their rules. Not you, the man or woman, but what they created and attached to you. And that's the chain. Your legal entity is the chain of slavery, and we have to separate ourselves from it if we hope to break the chain. As long as we're toting around being the surety name, that's your chain. They made those names up. Your parents did not make up your last name. Okay? They didn't make it up. They didn't create it. You know, the lawyers in that created that last name, which is a surety name, which is your slave name, which makes you bound to their rules and regulations. But it's a fictional name. It's not yours. It's theirs. And they got you to believe, just like in that milk commercial, that this garbage that they're producing in the commercial milk houses is good for you, knowing damn well it ain't. So, you went through school. Nobody ever told you nothing in school that it was any use to you whatsoever, or we wouldn't have this chain on us. Okay, so the school system is there specifically to teach you one thing really and one thing only, and that is to don't question authority. Not in the school, and if we ingrain it well enough into you, you won't question authority when you get out of school. You can tell people anything, and they'll do it. Send a resume, they do it. Learn how to do a resume, they do it. Me, not so much. Do you have a resume? No, I don't do resumes. Leave that for the rest of the world. Now, please direct me to who actually does the hiring, and we'll save each other a whole bunch of time. Because the guy that's going to do the hiring, or the gal that's going to do the hiring, doesn't want to sift through 40,000 freaking resumes, because they all read the same. They all lie on them. They all exaggerate on them. So just put yourself in front of the one that's going to do the hiring and have a quick chat with them, and the two of you will come to a conclusion pretty quick. The one hiring, does this one have the capability to do what I need done? And the one that's looking for the job, do I really wish to work for these people or this company? Done. Oh, you can't do it that way. Yeah, you can. And I have. I've never filled out a resume in my life. I don't ever intend to. Same thing the last time, years ago, when I got my shoulders, they did an ultrasound on them. The guy does the ultrasound on them. I says, like, how bad are they? And he says to me, well, I'm not allowed to discuss it with you. I'm only here to take the ultrasounds. But you see these things every day. You do these things, yeah? And you know what you're looking at, right? Well, yeah. Well, then let's talk. Well, I'm not allowed to. Do you see anybody here except me and you? You keep what you just told me, and you tell that to the rest of the world. You and I are going to sit down and have a conversation about my shoulders. And we did. And he seemed quite relieved about it, because I'm sure he would like to have told other people, but he can't do it. Why can't he do it? Well, because somebody told him he couldn't do it. I mean, it's ludicrous. Absolutely stupid. But it's all attached to that damn chain. The only one that they can tell you can and can't do something to is that entity they created. That's your chain. Okay? You're bound by that chain, that thing that they created. That fictional you. Now, why would you abide by a fictional you? Why would you allow a fictional you to rule your life unless you agree that you're not a man or a woman? Sounds like I'm in trouble now. I have a news announcement to make. The great yellow duck was in Owen Sound Harbor, which is about 50 miles from me. And apparently people came out from all around to view the duck. And I think there's a duck somewhere around here on the radio today. Is there a duck out there?
Yeah, they seem to be following me all over.
Quack, quack.
I got people are trying to call into the show.
Yeah.
I thought I should just let you know that the phone lines are down at this point.
Okay.
Everything's supposed to be working. Jules to work with them.
Yeah, it happens.
But yeah, so you have had callers that are trying to call in, and I just want to let anybody that's trying to call into the show.
Can't.
The lines are down right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you want to call into the show, then and you have Skype, then just contact me. Which is what is it? It's all lowercase. Just hook up with me, Ron Stevens, STEPHENS 7. So if you want to talk, just hook up with me on Skype, and we can get you in that way, I guess. Yeah. So what's up?
No, I just I noticed that people were trying to call in. I have a couple of friends actually around me that wanted to call in today. And
are they also ducks?
Yeah, and there was somebody in chat that wanted to call in, and
well, yeah, I'm sorry the lines are down.
Let everybody know this is why you can't get through. The phone lines are down.
We just let me look at this while I got you, because this really has something to do with you in a kind of an oddball way. I was just looking through this last night. I think this is where it's at. There's where the heck did I see that? It's in one of these news things here. Anyways, it has to do with turtles. And
I'm a duck.
I know you're a duck, but down your way, they're building turtle fences and all kinds of whatnot. Right? Like they're building turtle fences and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're having a it's called Meet Lake Huron Turtles, and it's a seminar on Saturday, which I missed. And it's Coastal Center Executive Director Aaron Laurie says the workshop is titled Meet Lake Huron Turtles, and they'll start by talking about the coastal wetlands on Lake Huron, which is important habitat for turtles. Staff from Scales Nature Park will introduce people to some live turtles, and they'll demonstrate things like how to safely pick up a snapping turtle and how to help a turtle cross the road. Now, this is very important for people. Most people don't know anything about turtles. Most people probably don't see turtles. But this is a very important thing that's being funded, obviously, by everybody else, that you should learn about turtles. Because I don't know, I don't know if that report was true or not, but like thousands of turtles every hour cross the 401. And it's important that we learn how to stop in the middle of a freeway and work as crossing guards to let the turtles across the road. Now, I don't know why I got thinking about this. Why turtles? Why turtles? Now, if you drive down the highway, very seldom will you see a splattered turtle. It's a very rare occurrence. But you will see splattered groundhogs, splattered skunks, splattered coons all over the highway. But apparently, they're not that important compared to turtles. We don't have groundhog crossings. Are you putting up any groundhog fences down there, Chris? Or any skunk highway walkovers? Or any of that kind of stuff? Seems to be really zoned in on the turtle. Now,
well, I like turtle soup.
Well, yeah, but but you don't see too many turtles splattered along the highway. Turtles really don't tour that far, right? They usually try to find some swampy area or whatever, and they hang out there, right?
Well, I watched a race once with a turtle and a rabbit. Ha ha.
Ha ha ha. And yeah, that bunny was all jacked up, right? And he just, I mean, turtle.
Probably got some needles.
Yeah. But the reason the turtle is so important, I just want people to understand this. Why is the turtle so damned important all of a sudden? Well, because the turtle represents Marxism. Now, you say, what the hell is he talking about? Now, I went looking, doing some research on the NDP leader, who I don't know if he's now a liberal or he's out of politics or now, but they never leave. Now, he went to Oxford, and I thought Oxford was just a singular school, a university. I didn't realize there were so many different schools at Oxford. And I don't recall the name of the school, but if you put Bob Rae in Oxford, it will bring up the particular school. Now, Bob Rae is a Marxist. His daddy was a Marxist. His godfather, Morris Strong, was a Marxist. And I think the reason the turtle, because they always push their stuff in your face without really telling you. Now, the turtle, and you can look this up. It's not hard to find. I don't really have time to find it right now, and I don't remember the woman's name. I don't know, it was Rosenberg. Anyways, the school that Bob Rae went to at Oxford, they have a, what do you call those things? Mascot. The mascot for that school is a turtle. And that turtle is named after a Marxist. Okay? So that...
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you at all.
A turtle as a mascot in a school.
Yeah, and the name of the turtle is a woman. And that woman is a Marxist. And that, if you bring it all the way back to here, is why the turtle is so damned important. Right? I mean, it's like when they put that stainless steel statue of Lenin with a small Mao on the head. It was a huge thing, dumped it into Richmond, British Columbia, when all the Chinese were coming. And people were right pissed about it, and they said, "What? It's just a piece of art, right?" You know, they just subtly keep moving their message through here, but it's amazing. No, I invite people. It shouldn't take you very long to find it. I mean, I had to smile when I ran into this. I'd say, "Give me a freaking break! What kind of a school would have a turtle for a mascot?" And then when I got the name of the turtle. And then followed that name back. This is a freaking Marxist, and your entire environmental movement is Marxism. You know, you can call it all kinds of things, but it's really basically Marxism. And you know, the unions, the Soviet Union, the European Union, North American Union, that's all Marxism. And we have to look out for the turtles because it's a famous turtle who's a Marxist, who was involved in. It's amazing when you get into Oxford and you start looking through some of the schools and some of the people that graduated out of those schools. It will blow your friggin' mind, man. The ones that are pushing the agenda, you will find in there. And yeah, so that's my anyways why I believe that turtles all of a sudden are so important, and why we don't want the turtle to get run over. I mean, you're on the highway all the time down at Kingston. I mean, how many turtles do you see on the road every day?
Well, I do a lot of cottage country stuff, but
yeah,
I might
but
see
even in cottage country,
one a week.
Yeah, one turtle a week, right? Yeah. Okay, and during that same week, I'm sure a fairly large number of raccoons, skunks, groundhogs get run over, and deer. Right, but it's the turtle. You know, got to look out for the turtle, because what I see is the turtle somehow, for some reason, and I think probably why what the turtle represents, is this new world order they've been trying to build since the beginning of friggin' time, basically, is that, or several new world orders, but this last run at it, the final kick at the can kind of thing, is the idea of the incrementalism, you know, the generational slowness of the movement is vested in the turtle, okay, because the turtle moves slow. You know, and I think that's what this turtle represents. I know it's a Marxist symbol, at least in the school of Oxford. But you know, the turtle just moves real slow, and you don't see turtles go winging by you, right? And this thing is, turtles they're very. They look like they have a purpose when they're trying to do something, but they do it slow. And you really don't notice. You know, it's not like a jackrabbit or a deer going winging by. These things are slow. And that's the progressive Marxism. Slow. Very slow. And so when you're out there protecting turtles, remember, you're protecting a message. You're helping to implement a message into the people. It's all about suggestion, and it's all about osmosis, if you will. You learn through osmosis, because if it's just there all the time, you may not notice it, but it does get inside your head, and then it changes things, and it gives them an advantage over you, which you don't want them to have. So that's the turtle. I just found it interesting that, you know, because you've mentioned turtles down your way and building fences and to protect the turtles and that.
Oh, yeah.
And when I saw the turtles...
Good money in it.
Well, there's good money in all of this stuff. I mean, these people go to university, and then they come out of university and they get a job as the Coastal Center Executive Director. Sounds nice. Aaron Laurie says the workshop is titled Meet Lake Huron's Turtles. Now, if they tried to sell this...
It's like what Shawley says on his show all the time. You know, gotta love them flattering titles.
Oh, yeah. And so what is it you do again? You're going to put on a seminar on how to help a turtle cross the road. Okay, why don't you help an old man or an old lady cross the road and don't worry too much about the turtle? Well, they didn't fund about the turtle, and I guarantee if I go to the Rockefeller Foundation, I'm going to run into turtles if I put it in. I will find turtles there somewhere. Okay? This is the way this mess operates. So now you're working hard trying to keep a roof over your head, and the Coastal Center Executive Director, Aaron Laurie, is getting probably a better paycheck than you are to hold seminars on how to help a turtle cross the road. Now, you probably don't think that's that important. I know I don't, but I'm sure Laurie does. And Laurie feels pretty good because she has a nice title. And they're stroking her little ego. Way to go, Laurie. That was a wonderful seminar. I really liked the special speaker that came in and picked up a snapping turtle and showed people how to actually pick up a snapping turtle. And if you asked the 34 million people in Canada how many times they stood and wondered, is that a snapping turtle? should I pick it up, and what the hell will I do with it if I do pick it up? You will find that it is probably about the same percentage of the people who are Muslim, which is about 3% of our population, and about the same population base as your LGBTQ2. We're talking super low minorities, and we are being run not by the majority, but by the minorities. Okay? Now, the majority, call it 97, 98%, and stand up and say, we don't want any funding for turtles. We don't want any funding for the LGBTQ. If they want to fund it, let them raise the money themselves. And then the minority will squeal, and then the government, who's supposed to deal in majorities, will put in all kinds of rules and regulations and stomp on anybody who raises any kind of a dissent against any of these minority groups who have way too much power over the majority. And meet the turtle, just as another one of these things. And that, so you have these vast amounts of resources being thrown at things that these resources shouldn't be thrown at. And you have all kinds of people who are in desperate need, who are getting no funding whatsoever. And you can call them the poor, you can call them the veterans, you can call them the disabled, you can call whatever the hell you want, the elderly, right? There doesn't seem to be any funds for those people, but for these little minority groups, there seems to be no end of funding for them. And this is something that is extraordinarily dangerous, and people need to stop backing up to this nonsense. You know, if you tell me I can't say anything about anybody at any time, then you're treading in my space. And, you know, I said what was on my mind in the courthouse on Friday and got run over. But that's fine. You know, that's fine. We'll run out some civil suits on these clowns and the judge and the crown. And you know, call it a return bitch slap, if you will. But, you know, to not say what is on your mind is to be worse than, you know, not mentally full or disabled. It's far worse, okay? Because if you can't say what's on your mind, then you've silenced yourself. If you fear to say what's on your mind at any time, then you've silenced yourself, and that's what they want. They want you to self-regulate and not bother them, so that they can go along on their merry way. Now, if I went to this seminar about turtles, and I've been to lots of seminars, if I went to this particular seminar about turtles, then I explained to them the actual importance of turtles, and the number of turtles that actually get smashed on a roadway, and the amount of money being wasted on turtles. And I don't have anything personally against a turtle, but this is a total, complete waste of time. And
you gotta stop.
and they would jump on me so hard, right? How dare you talk about a turtle that way, right? You know, I'd probably get them to shed a tear or two, right? You know, they may come out with new turtle, what do you call it, turtle phobia or whatever, right? Like Islamophobia. I can't say anything negative about a turtle. Or I'm going to be in trouble. That's what they're doing. So you got to say what's on your mind, whether they like it or not. Okay? Because if you don't, then you've self-silenced. You self-censored yourself to whose benefit? Yours? No, to theirs. And do they care about you? No. So if you stay silent, you're telling them you don't care about you either. You just keep backing up, and things will just keep getting more ridiculous day after day after day. And
well, I can attest to the fact that I'm living that dream every day.
You know, I should be right now an extraordinarily wealthy guy because I know the game. Okay, I know the game. And just in the housing sector, right, knowing that they put false fences, invisible fences around every town or city, and they restrict the land usage, of course, because, well, the turtle needs some room, and which drives up the price of property, which means, and I bought and sold lots and that before in the past, and numerous of them, and you know, with the information I got from what do you call it, the housing outfit that does mortgages, with the information they gave me and the game plan they gave me, I could have tied up, since I was alerted to this. Well, I already knew about it because I'd researched it, but once I ran into them at the meeting, I could have sewed up so much land here in houses with a simple stroke of a pen and a first right of refusal. Because when I was building, really, into the early 90s, you know, we were paying like 30 grand for a lot. I mean, a really nice lot in a very expensive neighborhood, and we could buy lots a hell of a lot cheaper. I bought a lot for, I think, 5 or 10 grand down near the lake, and just rolled it over in a couple of days for a lot more than paid for it. But knowing what I know, I could have been extraordinarily wealthy by now, but I chose not to because my moral guideposts got in my way, and that's why I do what I do here. And I'm living nowhere near what you could consider high on the hog. I'm low. I'm under the turtle. And I know you as well, Chris, have suffered a lot from your conviction to do what's right, right? Do I still got you?
Just a hair.
Just a hair, yeah.
I've only had vehicles stolen. I've done.
Oh yeah, you have.
Time in jail for crimes I did not commit.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody's innocent that's in jail, right? Yeah.
Well,
so I've been taken down. I get myself up. I had a couple homes once.
Yeah, but
they all got taken.
Well, if you just do what you're told to do, Chris, and don't buck the system, none of this would have ever happened to you. So don't blame anything but yourself. You bucked the system, therefore you obviously brought it upon yourself.
Correct.
Yeah, you've heard this shit before, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and your, you know, my family said stuff like that to me, right? And I personally can't walk around. I don't even know how you do that, you know, because I think I would be bumping into things all the time. If I walked around my head up my ass all the time, you'd think you'd run into things, right? So, you know, we see, and they don't see. And it's very difficult to have any kind of intelligent conversation with a see no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil people. And we got to shake that away from people and get them to the point where they see and hear. Then they know. And then they become dangerous to the establishment. Now, that's not revolutionary talk. That's just the way it is. We live in the richest place on the planet. And you're working hard to keep a roof over your head. But at the same time, you're paying the Coastal Center Executive Director, Aaron Laurie, a pretty nice paycheck to stroke turtles, of which are no consequence whatsoever in any picture, big or small. I mean, aren't they making all this nanotechnology and stuff? Aren't they replacing the men and women's jobs with robotics? You know? So why are we so concerned about a turtle if you can make all these robotics and all this nanotechnology and all this kind of stuff? Why don't you just make a turtle? Well, no, we can't lose the turtles. There's not enough turtles on the planet, but there's, 5 billion too many people on the planet.
You gotta get off of this topic. I get it. It's
I know. I'm
funny
just
as hell. But,
I'm just rambling away.
And if you go on with that technology, I mean, Jules does a very good show of that, and hopefully she's back soon to doing them. And she can get a little deeper into that subject.
There's, I don't want to get too deep into any subject. I just want people to learn to read. I want people to hang out at the Rockefeller Foundation or the different foundations that spun off of the Rockefeller Foundation. These are the guys that created the United Nations. These are the guys that have made it so that a farmer can't take his hay off his field when he needs to take his hay off the field. Not that there is something living in the field. Doesn't have to be proven that something's living in the field. It's just the fact that something could be living in the field, and therefore you can't take your hay off when you want to. This is the kind of nonsense that we put up with that we need to stop putting up with, you know. I told a lady, she came into the store this morning when I was getting my coffee, and she bought a couple packs of smokes, and I says, they passed a new bylaw. You can't smoke on the hospital grounds anymore. It used to be 15 feet from the door. You used to smoke in the hospital, and then slowly, like Turtle Land, slowly you can't smoke in the hospital, and you have to smoke outside the hospital, and now you can't smoke on the hospital grounds. And I said, they just passed a new bylaw. You can't smoke in town. They've designated a smoking area out in the country about 5 miles from here. It's a 10 by 10 square foot space. It's roped off, and there's a sign there, smoking, unless there's a turtle around, and then you can't smoke. And but she brought something up interesting. She says, well, they're breaking their own rules then. I go, what do you mean? And she said, well, last night. I said, oh, you were up at the park last night at that Highland thing, Highland music thing. And she goes, yeah. And I said, so everybody in the park was smoking, right? Yeah. And there you go. There's your municipality, right? If they had a big thing at the hospital, on the hospital grounds, then they would get rid of the smoking rules for their purposes. You know, it's the same thing. We have noise bylaws here in town that you have to shut the music down by 1 o'clock or something. Last night, because it's the Highland guys, it was still going on past 2 o'clock in the morning. Now, I don't know what you think about bagpipes at 2 o'clock in the morning, but I do know that we lived uptown for a while, and you didn't sleep that night, period, because then they get drunk, and they're flopping around on the street at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, still wailing away on their bagpipes. So the municipality,
we got bagpipes here on the far west end of town. It's probably about 5 miles away from me. And they practice, and I don't mind the sound, I'll be honest with you, because they do a pretty good job of what they're doing. But they're about 5 miles away, and I can hear them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. My brother-in-law used to live up near that park, and a big older brick house, and he was about a block away from the park. And when they bring in these bands, like these pipers from all over the place, right? This is our claim to fame in this town. Like every Saturday night, we have a pipe band go down the main street. But it shook him out of bed early on a Sunday morning. A guy's backed right up into a kind of a cubby hole at the side of the house where the side door is, because they're tuning their pipes there. Because they said it's a really good spot to tune your pipes. So no, those things carry forever, right? They you can hear them a long ways off. So that group of people that live downtown and within a few blocks of that park did not sleep last night. But the municipality, what they do, I called the police one night when we were downtown, and I said, would you tell those guys to shut up? Right? I got to get up in the morning. And, the municipality quashed their noise bylaw for this particular thing. Wait a minute. If I get on a job site before 7 o'clock in the morning and fire up a skill saw, I'm going to have cops down my ass or up my ass real quick for violating the noise bylaw, or after 8 o'clock at night. And here we are, past 2 o'clock in the morning. These things are still wailing away. Yeah, well, they just removed their bylaw for this. So I said, well, you know what? Because the cops are getting frustrated too. You get all these drunk pipers wandering around, right? And I said, well, okay. So I phoned the mayor at 2:30 in the morning or whatever, and because he ain't going to hear him where he lives, and woke him up and says, "Are you sleeping?" Well, it was, and I said, "I'm not." And nor is anybody else within X number of blocks of downtown. Oh, well, we kind of, put a hold on the noise bylaw for this thing. Well, listen, I'll just keep you on the phone then until they shut up, or you shut them up, and then I can go to sleep and you can go to sleep. But if I ain't sleeping, guess what, Mayor? You ain't sleeping neither, right? And so all of a sudden, the cops cleared the main street off, which I thought was pretty decent, because they were pissed off as well. So, the rules and regulations only apply when they see an advantage to themselves, which is the corporation. And you abide by the rules and regulations unless they decide they're going to not use the rules and regulations that day. And then whatever works for them, not whatever works for you. We got to change that around. Anyways, I don't even know what to talk about today. I really don't want to. Oh, here's a question. I see over in Germany, and I didn't pay much attention to it, but the G20 meeting's over in Germany somewhere. And I guess, I don't know if you looked at this or not, Chris, but I guess there's a fair bit of protests going on over in Germany over the G20. I understood there was a ton of cops got injured. Do you hear anything about that?
I've been so busy today, I haven't even looked at the news.
Well, this is the same thing. I was up way late last night. I couldn't sleep. My shoulder's freaking killing me.
It doesn't surprise me. I mean, you got people that are trying to do the right thing, but, you're doing it like that, you're not going to win. They'll bring the friggin' military in.
The thing is says here G20 protesters injure about 75 cops and damage cars in Germany. I get mayhem in Germany. Thousands march. I got 76 cops down here injured. 197 cops hurt in clashes with anti-Germany protest or the G20 protesters in Germany.
Those poor cops.
Well, they have to learn. Okay, I started out with 25, then I got 26, then I got 197. This one down here says 159. So, good for the protesters. Because the G20, this is what people don't understand. The G20 is a private company. Okay?
You should meme me something on your Facebook with Trudeau and Merkel necking with tongues.
Holy Christ.
Oh,
my lunch almost landed on my desk. I just had a picture of that in my head. That ain't pretty.
Look at lizard tongues.
That is not pretty, right? Yeah. And you got big-eared Charlie in there licking Trudeau's ears, right? Oh, yes, that's lovely ears. You want to lick my big ears? Fondle my big ears there, Tinkerbell. Oh, Merkel. I mean, it's just too bad. You can't even deal with that.
Sorry.
But what the hell was that guy's name? Is it Larry Summers? I think I can't remember these guys' names.
They're all the same.
Larry Summers, I think. Larry Summers is involved in the creation of the and the other one was Geithner, wasn't it? What was Geithner's name?
Geithner.
I can't remember how to spell Geithner, but we'll try this. Who was involved in this was I think Larry Summers and Geithner. Geithner, there. That's a guy's name. Anyways, it is far from my research is that it's a private company that these guys started up. These guys are bankers in that. And also Paul Martin was involved in the creation of the G20. And it was, here we go. Climate, financial crisis to be on G20 agenda.
Agenda.
Well, this is from 2010. This is the year that we had the G20 in Toronto. And our Harper, everybody's bitching about Tinkerbell because he's a liberal, but it was Harper, the conservative, that said at that G20 meeting that this, regarding the meeting, is a loss of national sovereignty, and some people don't like it. It's just a simple reality. People got to get over this right-left nonsense.
I can't wait till 2019 so I can vote again and do the same thing all over until 2023, and then we'll do it again. We'll just keep voting until we get the right person in forever.
Well, that will never.
I think that's a good plan. No?
So what you have is World Bank people. I think Geithner is World Bank, and the U.S. Secretary of Treasury, or Geithner is the U.S. Secretary of Treasury. And let me see what I can find out here. But this is not something that was created. People have this idea that the G20 is these 20 countries come together. No, some guys started a private company, and then they coerced these countries to joining into their program. Is how this went down, and so everybody in this G20 is taken. They've been lied to, basically. Now membership. Argentina is a member. They ain't doing too good. Australia's not doing too good. I don't know what's going on in Brazil. Canada's going in the toilet. France is already in the toilet. Germany's in the toilet. India's not doing so good. Italy's getting hammered. Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Turkey, United Kingdom, United States, European Union. Chairperson for the G20 is for this year is Angela. I make Hitler look like a pussycat Merkel, and Morris Messeri. What the hell is this guy? Is going to be. Is that from Mexico or what? Is going to be. Who is this guy? He's the 5th chief of government of Buenos Aires. Is going to be the G20 guy for next year. But this is all a political situation that basically keeps people in the dark. If you're going to have a meeting of the G20 and the people are beating up the cops, then you know there's a problem. You know it's not to the benefit of the people. I don't know how many protesters went out in Germany to raise hell, but we saw the protesters here in Canada, and the media, again, in Germany is focusing on the protesters, not on the meeting. And they did the same thing here in Canada. All of the coverage of the meeting, there was little to no news about the meeting and what the meeting was even about. It was all focused on the protesters, and they're doing the same thing in Germany. It is about, this is interesting. This is from the Globe and Mail in 2010. Now, Paul Martin, and I invite anybody and everybody to go look up Paul Martin Explains Money in the film, one of the best Canadian films ever made, O Canada, Bought and Sold Out Land. Now, he's explaining to a young dropout who's filming this, who did the movie, Paul Martin is explaining money, because that was the whole concept of the movie. Where's money come from? There was just a question two young dropouts had. Where's money come from? And they couldn't get an answer. So they picked up some cameras and started interviewing people. And they got some brilliant interviews with some very, in brackets, important people. One of them being the ex-finance minister, Paul Martin, explaining money. And it was the most ridiculous attempt at a non-explanation you ever saw. But how did Canada make the G20 happen? Good question. Paul Martin sat in Lawrence Summers, not Larry Summers, Lawrence Summers' spacious office in the Greek-columned U.S. Treasury building in Washington, searching in vain for a piece of paper. With none in sight, the two men grabbed a brown manila envelope, put it on the table between them, and began sketching the framework of a new world order. It was April the 27th, 1999. For the past 5 years, the global economy had shuddered under the string of massive debt defaults, first in Mexico and then in Southeast Asia and Russia. In each case, Western leaders and bankers responded by prescribing harsh fixes, throwing one developing economy after another into recession. As crisis followed crisis, Mr. Martin, then Canada's finance minister, became convinced that major developing nations had to be given a voice, not just an ultimatum, when it came to discussing their place in the global economy. But in the capitals of Europe and in the corridors of Washington, the answer was always the same. It's our club, and there are no vacancies. Or at least it was the same answer until that day, April day, when Mr. Martin visited Mr. Summers, then Bill Clinton's nominee for Treasury Secretary, to press his case. He argued that they couldn't keep imposing solutions on developing countries. The G7 had to be expanded, at least at the finance minister's level. Mr. Summers quickly agreed. But that was the simple part. Much thornier was the issue of who would be admitted into the club. With the manila envelope in hand, the two began jotting down countries: China, India, Brazil, Mexico. These were obvious choices. So was South Africa, the biggest economy on the continent. But who else? Who else could we bring into the club? I felt very strongly that it had to be the regional powers, recalls Mr. Martin. Larry felt that, and then he also had the geopolitical concerns. I would love to say we sat down and ran the numbers on whose GDP was bigger, but we didn't. We both had a pretty good perspective on where things lay. Thailand was the nexus of the Asian banking crisis, but Indonesia was more influential in the region. Indonesia and Thailand out. Chile was tempting because it was democratic and well run, but Argentina was a bigger player. Argentina got the seat. Saudi Arabia was strategically important and a good friend of the United States. The Saudis would get an invite. So it went until they had completed a working list of roughly 20 countries, literally a back-of-the-envelope blueprint of what would become today the most powerful forum on economic and political matters in the world, the G20. The G20 convenes in Toronto on June 26. It will mark the culmination of a long and unlikely story, one that began with an annual gathering of finance ministers and evolved into a semi-annual meeting of world leaders from 19 countries. Yes, not 20. See sidebar for the inside story. Collectively, they represent 70% of the global population and 90% of the global GDP. The G20 enters its second decade with enormous potential, but many unanswered questions. The world will watch as these leaders try to carry on the task of shepherding a fragile economic recovery. As a group, they have the power. But can they wield it? This sounds exactly like Morris Strong. You know, George Hunt did that in his video, which I recommend everybody watch for some early background on these guys. And I know he thought they were, driving down. It was a story that Strong had written or something, but will the West do it, right? And the answer is no. So therefore, we must do it. This is the same kind of language that's going on here. And where did Paul Martin come from? Who was Paul Martin mentored by? Morris Strong over at Power Corp. Okay? So this has nothing to do with democratic societies whatsoever. This is true. This is, like Carlin said, it's a big club, and you and I are not in the big club. If we were in the big club, we'd be allowed to voice our opinions without having riot police and noise cannons and all the rest of this kettling and all the rest of this nonsense going down on the street, while these guys decide, and it says right up here at the beginning of this story, a new world order in the very first paragraph, and began sketching the framework of a new world order. That was in April '99. It's now 2017, and everywhere the G20 goes, the protests erupt, and people get hurt on both sides. Okay, and both sides should be going to the club and dealing with the club members, not fighting with each other on the streets, right? I don't believe the police know what they're doing. They're just told to do what they do, and they do it.
Well,
they need to wise up.
They get fine paychecks for it, so they don't tend to argue.
Well, this is the problem. But I'm going to throw this in here because it's actually a pretty good little piece. And I always tell people you got to back up every now and again to get some kind of handle on what the hell what's going on. And most people never get the background. They never look at the background. Now, while this is a Globe and Mail story, it gives you an idea from the Globe and Mail's perspective, which is the mainstream media perspective. They do put some stuff forward here if you know what you're reading, but again, you need to go deeper, so you get some names and you get this and that, and then you will get a deeper understanding of what's going on. I mean, you think about it now. It's 2017, so they did this in '98. So a kid now who is of voting age has no recollection of this. This is the problem. Okay, this is the turtle crap, right? Go slowly. Now they're picking it up, pace up extraordinarily quickly now, but if you're voting age, you probably have none of this background. You've never been exposed to this story that it's a club, that it's about New World Order. You've never been exposed to this stuff, and that's why it's so important. But because what people do is just react all the time to what's coming at them today, and that leaves them pretty much blind. But anyway, I'm going to put this particular story in the chat, and you can run through it, and hopefully you find something that interests you enough to do a little deeper research into it. I can't remember. Maybe you can help me out on this, Chris. I can't remember what the there's a what do you call it? It's like a tracker, right? You can put a name in it, and it brings up a string of all the names on kind of a, not really a grid, but more like a pie thing with extensions out all over the place. I can't remember what the hell the name of that is. If somebody remembers it, it's like when Trudeau put in the $780 million, or committed the people to $780 million to the Global Fund. And I can't remember what that damn website is. But when I
a pie chart, like I don't understand.
It's well, if I put in Maurice Strong, or put in Paul Martin, or put in Trudeau, or put in Bush, or put in any of their groups, what it does is it comes up kind of like a circle, and it has what you put in the middle. And then the lines go out all over the place to who all's connected to it, right?
Oh, okay.
That's where I found out that Summers and
like
Geithner, that this is actually it's a research tool. It's brilliant. But when I put in, because it said that Trudeau committed $780 million of your dollars to the Global Fund, which was to help, alleviate malaria and tuberculosis and AIDS and one other thing or something, polio, I think, in the third world. So where would Trudeau come up with, oh, geez, we need to spend $780 million on this into the third world, and we'll send it to the Global Fund? Well, when I looked up the Global Fund through that research tool, I see the Global Fund, and then I see a line from Trudeau puts in $780 million to the Global Fund, and then there's another line taken off that the Global Fund funds the Clinton Foundation. This was during the either the run-up or during the election, right? So we have you and I funding the Global Fund for supposedly malaria and stuff, but it's going over here to the Clinton Foundation. It's the same thing that happened in Haiti. All that money went from everywhere to help the Haitians, and all that happened was that your money got pocketed, a great deal of it, by the foundations that the Bushes are involved in and the Clintons are involved in. You know, this is how they move money around. And I just can't remember what the hell the name of that thing is. I'm trying to remember who sent it to me, and I can ask them to give it to me again, because it's actually a brilliant thing. You can punch anybody's name in there that has anything to do with any of these foundations or any of these groups, and here's why you don't see, this is from Hal, here's why you don't see turtle carcasses on the highway. Okay, I'm up for that. I mean, I have seen turtle carcasses on the highway, but this is my browser. Okay, I guess I'll have to do it this way. I have to reload this, I guess. There's something blocking this thing here. But that I'm gonna try and figure out what that okay. I've got to get that research tool or that search tool back. I'll find it and I'll put it, I won't get it today likely, but I will put it when I do get it into the chats and that. And I should put it on my Facebook and on my blog, because it talk about being able to track who's attached to who and what's attached to who is absolutely amazing. It'll blow your mind. You know, I thought the G20 was the G20, but here we have in that article, here's two jackasses sitting down on the back of a manila envelope, plotting the course, basically, their New World Order. So, I am really, really interested. Okay, let me see if I can get this to run. I don't know why this does this. I got redirect going nuts in here all the time. Oh, come on. Somebody doesn't.
I just clicked on that link for Hal. From Hal.
Did you get
my computer got screwed right up.
Yeah, I'm just getting redirects going out of the woodwork. I'm going to try it one more time.
I don't even know if I'm live or I'm on Memorize.
No, I can't get that thing.
No, I think he may have sent something he probably didn't mean to send, but it really kind of screwed things up when I clicked it.
Yeah, my computer went. I had all kinds of redirect pages opening up here and stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll just put the turtle story to sleep here right now.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm surprised that I'm not in jail, because when we were a kid, we used to. Yeah, okay, I'll get it later. Frogs, I think, took a real beating by kids. At least when I was a kid, frogs took a real beating compared to turtles. So I think we should save the frogs. Maybe we could make a big. Why did they? Could you have any idea why they made that big, stupid rubber duck? I never looked into why that duck was made. I know it cost $250,000 or something to make a rubber duck. But
it was me.
Oh, it was all about you.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'm worth $250,000, I think. I'd rather have it in my pocket than rather throw it in the water.
Yeah, well, that duck ain't gonna fit in your pocket. Like, how big is that thing? What is it, 6 stories or some stupid thing?
Yeah, I know, it was crazy, eh?
Huh?
That was crazy. Could they pull it out of the water with a helicopter, like you were asking? I don't know.
I have no idea, because that thing was in Toronto Harbor.
They just let it float around forever.
And then the next thing I know, it's up here at Owen Sound in the harbor. And I don't know why it exists. I don't understand the purpose of it, unless it's just to promote all the good work that you do.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking, because I can see no other reason to have this big yellow rubber duck.
I'm up for the Order of Canada.
Are you?
Yeah, because of that rubber duck.
That makes sense. Well,
it's like winning the lottery. Just imagine. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
I mean, I can see
how ridiculous
people.
Can you get?
Yeah, well, I'm sure
we're gonna have to save the turtles. We're gonna have to save the frogs.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna have to. You can't shoot ducks anymore in duck season.
Well, I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking these poor people and that, or fatherless children or whatever, going down to see this big duck, and the poor people are looking at this $250,000 rubber duck, going, how is that more important than my family, right? How is that more important than the trouble we're having right now?
How about the homeless people in Toronto?
Yeah,
the white male homeless people in Toronto. White male homeless people.
Oh, that's not possible. That's just another one of those fake news stories. All white people in Canada are doing very, very well, thank you. You're one of those, what do they call those guys, those white racist people?
Yeah, right? Yeah. And I'm damn proud of it.
Well, we got laws for you, buddy. We want no pro-white language spoken on these lands. Yes, I realize that all your forefathers that came here and built everything that's here were white European descent, but times have changed. And you have no importance whatsoever any longer. In fact, you have become a problem. So we'll have to take away your voice from you.
Yeah. And people forget, initially I think they called us a first world country because we built it up to that. And,
yeah.
But, the third world countries are lagging behind, so they got to take all of our stuff now and then make it a third world country too.
Well, that is the plan, isn't it? Right?
Yep.
That is the plan. And I don't know why anybody in the West here or North America would even put up with the thought process behind this. We have ruined the environment in the West. We are using up all of the resources in the West. We should just, go back to, I don't know what, subsistence farming. But we can't do that either because we wouldn't be able to afford the Monsanto seed, which seems to be the only seed left on the planet. So, no, I mean, they got people, I don't know how they got that guilt thing into people's heads, I guess through decades of schooling. Hate yourselves. You in the West must.
You were talking about incrementalism?
Yeah, turtleism.
Turtleism, yep. We'll start using that term now instead.
Yeah, I think we should. Marxism is turtleism.
Yep.
And because it comes at you slowly, it's the same as what's that other group that out of England there that is Sheep in Wolf's Clothing. What's that group? And it's all about moving slow as well. I forget what the name of that group is.
Oh, there's many.
Yeah, I know, but it's all Marxism when you boil it all down. But I don't know how they get a whole group of people to hate each other, not hate each other, but hate themselves.
Hate yourself.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah,
that seems to be the new thing.
Like I just want to go kill myself right now because I'm a white single male.
Well, you should. I saw 3 people hanging from the neck of that duck. In the picture up here, people that just couldn't take it anymore. They just got on the duck and crawled up the duck and got a rope tied around the duck's beak and jumped. And it's a nice addition to the duck, right? How do they get people to hate themselves, to hate their parents, to hate their grandparents? I mean, this is really. When I say it's a spiritual psychological war, it's a spiritual psychological war. How do you hate yourself? Well, you ruined the environment. I didn't ruin anything. I can't smoke on the hospital grounds because why can I not smoke on the hospital grounds? Well, because secondhand smoke kills. Well, wait a minute. Isn't this the same outfit that's dropping bombs on people all over the place?
Yeah.
And that's okay?
Probably. Well, nuclear in the sense of depleted.
Yeah.
Depleted nuclear.
Yeah, that's good for you.
It's all good.
It's good for you.
We're saving the world.
I'm surprised the government hasn't come out and said now that, the reason we're bombing in Afghanistan and Syria and all over Hell's Half Acre and why we wiped out Iraq and Iran, or not Iran, that's on the list, and Libya and all that, there's not all of these stories you heard about, them not going with the oil dollar and going back to gold. That had nothing to do with that. The reason we bombed these people was they were smoking in public. And we can't have that because secondhand smoke will hurt you. So we took it upon ourselves to wipe out the smokers, which just happened to wipe out most of the population. But hey, shit happens, right? Because the end justifies the means, right?
I can't wait till you get Jason on at the end of the month.
I can't either. I've been thinking about him,
That's exactly what you guys are going to be talking about.
Yeah, I was thinking about him, and after talking to him off air, I can't wait. I mean, I really can't wait. This guy is pretty articulate. He knows what the hell he's talking about. He did, 1 or 2 stints overseas. He saw the truth, and he's disgusted. And
deeper than that.
Huh?
He got the first Military of Valor medal in Canada.
Yeah.
For saving lives.
Yeah, but
literally dodging bullets to try and save lives. You lost 4, I think, and but he saved 4.
Yeah. And he didn't.
I mean, you want to talk about Superman?
Well, and he didn't really have to do that. right?
No, but he thought
But-
he thought he did.
Well, this is the
Once
problem.
you're there, you got to do it. You got no choice.
Well, no,
You know,
but what
when
it
you get
does,
there,
is,
you realize maybe I'm in the wrong mess here. I shouldn't be here.
that's right.
Wait,
But
buddy, you're in the military now.
yeah, but the thing is that after talking to him, he's obviously a moral man, and
Yes.
he's guided by morals, and that's
Yes.
what opens your eyes to the
Well,
ridiculousness.
that's what made him do what he did. He said,
Right,
"I'm
exactly.
here now, I got to save my buddies. You know.
Right, exactly. And it was yeah, but it's the moral guidepost that shows him or allows him to see the fallacies of these so-called wars, right?
Yeah.
And to look at it with a lot different eyes than most of the guys in the military do, and you know, that changed him.
Well, I'll tell you, he's talking to them. I mean, he's very well respected. Obviously, I mean, he was, you know, it's a national award he got, or not, well,
Right.
what
Right.
medal. And like anybody in the military, I mean, he's like a god to them. And he's telling everybody that he knows in the military, and that's a lot, probably thousands. You know, don't
Yeah.
think you're doing what you're doing for the
Well,
right thing.
He's rocking the boat, man. He's rocking that boat, right?
Yeah.
And I can't wait to interview him. So I don't. When are we doing this?
The end of the month.
The end of the month?
Yeah,
So
you're
we're gonna.
Saturday on it'll be
Okay,
on
so we're going to do the
Revolution
same
Radio.
thing. Murray, the lawyer,
He's next
is
week.
going to be next Saturday night.
Correct. Why
on
are we
Revolution.
discussing this on air?
Why are we discussing it? Well, I want.
We're making plans for shows on air when that's supposed to be something we do otherwise, but that's
Well,
okay.
no, I want the people to know that next Saturday night on Revolution Radio, streamed over here to UCY.tv, we're going to have Murray, a lawyer from Kingston, Ontario, who's been on a couple times before. We had technical problems the first time, and but we're going to have a very good discussion, I think, on the difference between legal and law and a bunch of other stuff. And he's good enough to come on, and being a lawyer, that's you know, it's a pretty big deal for him. It's like when we had the teacher on, it was very difficult for the teacher to do. Once the teacher did it, you know, he got back to me and he said, you know, now that I've done this show, I was scared to death to do it because the teachers are marked, you know, he said after he did the show, see, it brought his moral fiber forward, right? All of a sudden, his paycheck wasn't as important as the truth. And I think that's what happened to Jason. All of a sudden, the truth becomes paramount to everything else, right? And that teacher said, you know, I made a decision. They go, what's that? He says, I'm not going to lie to the children anymore. And that's huge for a teacher to say that. I don't know if he's still a teacher, but you know, that's a big commitment to make because you're putting your paycheck in jeopardy. And so, you know, I still think it's a good thing that Murray's going to come on. He's a lawyer, been in the business his whole life, and he's willing to come on and discuss this stuff. And one of the things I'm hoping to do with Murray, because I like the guy, is I'm hoping that he can see the light enough to do exactly what the teacher did and do exactly what Jason's doing. And that is, you know, throw the bullshit out, let go of it, right? And get on the right side of this.
Well, I was in on the conversation when you and I were talking with Jason for him.
Yeah.
And, you know, Jason said to you, he said, you know, I realized what I was over there for, and it was for poppies and oil pipelines.
Yeah, but he didn't know that when he left.
No, he did not. No,
Like,
he knew
he signed up for the
when
army.
he got
He
back,
thought
started talking to me.
He thought when he signed up for the military, which a lot of people do, is that they sign up for it because they're thinking that's the morally right thing to do.
Yeah.
Right. And
well, some do it for the paycheck.
Well, I know, and some just do it because they like to hurt other people, right? But but an awful lot of them, you know, they're coerced into saying, you know, like I've heard stories of the recruiters down in the United States. They don't hit the rich schools; they hit the poor schools, right? and explain to them that you're not going anywhere. You know, you're living in the ghetto and that. And if you want an opportunity in life, then you can get it through the Army, right? You can get
Remember the ads? Remember the ads in the States? Join the Army, and they used to sing songs and So it just blows my mind now just thinking about it. I don't even turn on a television anymore, but when I did, I remember seeing them, you know. And then you got a bunch of faggots singing "In the Navy."
Oh yeah. I remember them boys. That was bad. That was really bad. That was so freaking bad. You know, we get these changes. You know, I remember when everything was rock and roll, and then we went to the pub one night, and all of a sudden we got people in spandex and shit singing, "That's the way." And we went, "What the hell happened here?" Right? You know, but that's the way they work you, folks. That's what they do to you. And
fucking brainwashing all around.
It's just 100% 24/7, and we got to get away from it. When I was in the hospital Friday, I'm sitting there, and they have funny rules, you know, because I asked the girl. We got in there at 1:00. That was the lunch break on at the court, and so I got to go get checked out, and I asked the girl to sign me in. You know, I go like, how long is this going to take? And she said, it'll be 2.5 hours minimum. I said, great. Then what I'll do is I'll go with these guys, have lunch, go chat with Michael and John and the rest of them, figure out what went down in the court there when I got run over, and I'll come back. Right, I'll go have lunch and come back. And she's going, well, you can't do that. Why not? You told me it's going to be 2.5 hours minimum. Well, yeah, but then you lose your place in the queue. Why? Why will I lose my place in the queue? Because you left. Well, nobody knows I left except you, right? So I'll be back within an hour. So it's like I was still here, you know. Maybe I'll make a little picture of my face and put it on a chair and say Ron on it. This is Ron. That would be my legal entity is still here, and that's only who you can deal with anyways, so I didn't leave, right? Wouldn't go for that either. So I sat there for, from 1 till 4:15 before I saw the doctor. Got there about 4:30. And it's all horseshit city, right? But
there's been people. There has been, and I didn't tell you when we were talking privately. Like I said, it's a minimum 4-hour visit here in my town. Like if you go, I haven't been in an emergency or I haven't been to the hospital in 15 years. I haven't had my old hip card in, I don't know. I'm thinking going on 16, 17 years now. But it's a minimum 4 hours. But there has been people that have had to sit there for 8 hours before they could see a doctor.
That's out to lunch.
Oh, I know, yeah.
You know.
But hey, it's free.
Okie dokie. You know. The only positive thing about that hospital visit was the doctor, who, like I said before, looked he was definitely white. And he looked Eastern European, and when he's looking over my shoulder and that, he was not impressed. And he referred to the police as something that you would expect to happen in Moscow, not here. And he was adamant. You need statements from me. You got them, right? He was pissed. About what happened in the courtroom. And I'm sure the way these guys are acting up around here now, I'm sure that I wasn't the first one in there to have something looked at by these goon squads. While I hurt like hell, and I can't, I'm supposed to be redoing that house I say. They called me today. I was supposed to be there, right? and I'm saying, well, I got to go see the doctor again, right? Like, I got no strength in my left hand at all. I can't, a baby's probably got more squeeze on that left hand than I got right now. I can't lift my arm up anywhere. So how in the hell am I going to redo a house? I have no idea.
Fly me up.
Fly you up. Why don't you just ride the duck? I mean, you're in Kingston. Yeah. You're in Kingston. I'm on Lake Huron. Throw an outboard on the sucker and slide on up. Right? But all is good. No, I'm really looking forward to the next 2 Saturday nights. I'm really looking forward to them. And I'm going to try and get a hold of Michael today and see if he can jump in on the first half hour or whatever, just to run by Murray some of the crap that's going on in the racing of all the emails of the investigation, and about the cop lying to the judge to get the warrants, and the fact that even when this all came forward in the court, the judge just blows it off, right? Like, that should have been thrown out. It should have never came to court, but they're adamant that 23 or 24 years of trying to get Michael, they will, I mean, this is, how in the hell does a simple obstruction charge, which should have never been brought forward in the first place, how does this turn into a 5-day trial to start with? And then that was started March the 9th. And that last video Michael put up yesterday that I put in the chat is now the next, we were there Friday, then now there's another court date for the 26th of July, and then there's 2 more court dates for August. This is a simple obstruction charge, which nobody that was charged obstructed anybody, and those charges came in way after the raid. How is that possible that this is still going on? Because it's Get Michael, and the court ignores all of this stuff that was done wrong on the government side, like the erasing of all the data or all the information of the investigation, who talked to who said what to who, how did this end up here, and the admittance of the policeman who got the warrant, that he lied to the judge to get the warrant, and the investigating officer from the government who on video is proven to have lied over and over and over again. And those are the 2 star witnesses for the Crown, are both admitting to perjury, and the trial goes on. That's what I'm, maybe Murray has some insight, but this is not normal at all, what's going on in this courtroom.
No, like I said, he's not on air to
no, I understand that.
Yeah, he will. I mean, if we can engage him close enough, he may open up a bit. But he has to be careful.
I'm hoping,
he's still a member of the bar.
I understand that, and they will spank you at the bar, if because it's part of the club, and your job is to protect the club, right? So we have to try to figure out how to do this in a way that's just conversational and not legal opinions type of thing.
I'm thinking, you know what I'm thinking, Ron? We get Hal in. Somehow, some way, we get Hal in on the conversation. Hal will be able to pick his brain.
I would like Hal to do something really simple. I know he doesn't like Skype, and I see Hal's in the chat. So what I'd really like Hal to do is just hook up to Skype, and let's do something, and then delete your Skype. Boom, done. And I don't think the drones.
I don't
think the drones are going to get you. Oh shit! One's going over my house right now.
There you go. No, I believe the issue is once that's done, things can come into your computer that you can't get rid of. That they.
Well, I got so much crap in my computer now; it don't matter to me anymore. Like I just bought a new computer and it was clean when I got it, and it's already acting up bad. You know, I have to. I don't care, right? You know, you want to. I mean, if the entire government wants to come in, I have lots of couches and chairs here. If they want to come in and sit here and listen to everything I say in my own house, I don't care. At least then I have an opportunity to talk to them.
Oh, you're one of those guys that's got nothing to hide.
I have nothing to hide. Right? They're the ones that have everything to hide. That's their problem, and that's why nothing made me. I don't think anything has made me smile bigger or more than when that teacher wrote me back and said, "I've made a decision. I'm not going to lie to the children anymore." That just made me smile.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
If we could get someone in the legal end of things to do the same thing like Jason is doing on the military side now, then we're moving forward, right? As long as everybody's afraid to say what they know they need to say and don't say it, then we're not going anywhere. You know, people gotta lose this fear nonsense, right? You're only going to live so long, and the deal is to get as much done as you can while you're here. You know, I believe our job is to try to inspire people to say what they know they need to say and not worry about it. Otherwise, we just keep getting pushed back into the corner by these tiny little groups. And if you look at the legal society, it's a tiny little group, right? It's a very tiny little bunch of people that write all of your laws. And they write it in language that you got to spend years and years and years to understand. And, they say ignorance of the law is no excuse. Well, unless you went to law school, you're ignorant of the law.
Well,
but that's a make work program for them because you will get a lawyer to go to court. So they write the laws, they write the legal language into the laws, and they're the only ones seemingly that understand it. And the only way that you can possibly bring your case forward in a court is to hire one of those guys. And that's really conflict of interest, really, because they control both sides of the situation.
But here's the kicker.
What?
Even Murray, and he will admit it on your show, the law has changed so fast through the legalese system.
Oh, yeah.
He said that he can't even keep up with it.
Well, no, of course not, right? I mean, you take the lawyers in every municipality, you take the lawyers in the province/state or at the federal levels, then you take all the international lawyers, of which most people are completely unaware of what they're up to, and these guys are writing this stuff faster than you can even think about stuff. And sure, so, most lawyers, you phone a lawyer up and you say, well, I need a lawyer for this. Oh, well, that's not my specialty. So what you got really is you got these lawyers saying, I can't really help you on that because I'm ignorant of that particular area of law, even though we went to law school. So where the hell does that leave the public, right? And you're in quicksand, Anyways, I have an announcement to make here that, oh shit, are we out of time? Damn. That was weird. Anyways, Hal's up at 3, and I'm not supposed to talk when it's this big thing that's around me up.
Selling lies and buying time, killing people next in line, lower classes, social slime, they don't matter, genocide, sick from water, sick from air, making money, they don't care, Caesar shit, force of air, fuck them back, it's only for their bomb, they shoot, they kill, they massacre, rain, they burn the kids, no one makes
This is Aussie Skateboard.